That thread was called thread 44, and what made me first start it was I learned figure 4 position, which is this. You can kind of see the number 4 right here. So after I first learned about figure 4, I decided, okay, what can I do to make it my own and make it into a thread? So the first thing I did was I kind of just experimented and moved my body. I grabbed my toe first, and then I noticed if I put my elbow close to my knee like this, I make this little triangle. And I think shapes are cool. I think it's a cool concept to squeeze into your pattern. And then when I made this triangle, I realized that's an opportunity for me to thread. So I'm going to thread. So I thought about doing this, but I wanted to add add a bit of drama into it. So instead of simply putting it through like this, I kind of reach back and then put it through like that. And when I got to this point, I was wondering, all right, what should I do next? And I thought about what would any other breaker b-boy do. And I would think they would put their leg back out. So I decided not to do that. And what I wanted to do instead was grab my foot and put it down. And then I noticed my hand was really close to my foot, so I kind of slid it there. And when I'm making up moves along the way, I can't really describe it, but I just do what feels right. And then I noticed when I put my hand on my foot right here, there's another triangle, and I want to put my leg through it. But before I do that, I want to do this. I'm going to make a circle, and then I'm going to put it through. And then, without noticing it, I don't think a lot of people catch this, but this is also the figure 4 position right here. It's just at a different angle. So all that threading I did, I made it so I'm back at figure 4. I'm just at a different angle. And so I went from this 4 all the way to this 4. So I called it thread 44. Figure 4, thread here, move it right there. Bam. Figure 4. So that move was called the alpha thread, and it's a play off to the word alphabet, alphabet, alpha thread. And sometimes when I'm having a hard time creating new moves and new signatures, just to get my creative juices flowing, I give myself a goal for me to meet, and that helps me move on and create new moves. So for example, one day I was trying to think of new signatures and new patterns, and I decided to give myself the goal of trying to thread using the alphabets. So one day I was thinking, and I was looking in the mirror in this position, and I noticed, hey, that kind of looks like an A. It just needs that line right here. And then I noticed my hand was already here. So I thought, hey, that looks like the letter A. And I needed a way to get into it. So I thought, so after much playing around, I put my hand right here. And I use my knee to set my hand down. And then this hand kind of crosses right here. And you can see the letter A right here. And now next, I wanted to do a thread. I wanted to thread this leg through here. And I did this. And now that I was here, I was thinking, all right, what can I do next? So after much thinking, I noticed a triangle right here. and I decided to thread my foot through that hole and slide back. And then I noticed I actually made the letter B. So I actually made the letter B, if you can see it, it's right here. The letter B. And in this position, I thought, all right, I took care of A, B. Next is obviously C. And C was pretty tricky. I was having a hard time thinking of a pose to go to after this really awkward situation here. I thought, okay, I can make a C, but that looks pretty whack. I can make a C, that looks whack too. So since I couldn't really make my body look nice as a curve, I decided I was going to draw C instead. So I took my leg, and then I kind of scoop my hand right here. Then I draw the letter C right there. I drew the letter C, and then I had a hard time thinking of D. So I decided just to spin and then end the pattern with a freeze like this. So to recap, A, B, C, and then finish. And that was the alpha threads. So that move was called Double XL, and that's based off the rap magazine, Double XL magazines. And again, I like to take what I like and put it in my dance. And growing up through middle school and even now, I was a huge Eminem fan. And in one of his songs called Marshall Mathers, towards the end, he kind of does a little bar talking about Double XL magazines. And that's really why I wanted to make a move based on Double XL. So this is what happened in the move. I kind of spin, and I make an X with my arms. Now, Double XL has two X's and an L, so I decide to make that with my threads. I have one X, then I make another X, then I put my arm here, then right here, and then I'm gonna kind of scoop up, thread, and then scoop my arm up like this, and that's going to be the L right here. Bam. So thread 1X, thread another X, boom, thread, thread, and scoop L. Double XL. Yep, and here's the verse I was talking about, if you're curious. So that last move was called Wiggly Jr. And growing up, I watched a lot of cartoons. And one of my favorite cartoons growing up was a show called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And one of my favorite episodes is The Secret Snake Club. And in that episode, Mandy just joins a group of nerds who is trying to resurrect a snake to eat all the bullies. And one scene that I really liked was when Mandy was trying to leave the Secret Snake Club, and the nerds in the club didn't want Mandy to leave. So they took out their snake called Wiggly Jr. And it doesn't look threatening, but then it ends up like flying at Mandy and ties her up. So that's kind of what inspired that move. that moment when Wiggly Jr. is kind of like airborne and all slithering towards Mandy, that's where I got this motion from. Kind of like a snake flying at you. Here's a clip of that scene, just so you know what the heck I'm talking about.
It's halfway done rebooting now.
Well, I'm officially bored to tears. I'll let you roto-dorks finish on your own.
No, Mandy, I don't think you'll be going anywhere. See, once someone joins the secret snake club, they can never unjoin.
Is unjoin even a real word?
Who cares? She understood what I meant.
Don't yell at me!
Well, then shut up.
No, you shut up!
No, you shut up.
You shut up!
No, you shut up.
How about you both shut up? Now someone tell Captain Oafbag here to move it, or I'm gonna crumple him like a paper sack.
Idle threats, Mandy. I think it's time you met Wiggly Jr.
Oh, please. That's just a little garden snake.
So that thread was called Gary's Bath. And another way I try to create moves is I try to take things that I see throughout my day and make it a move. To me, if you want to create moves that no other b-boy or b-girl will think of, the best way to make moves that they wouldn't think of is to not think like them. So I kind of try to make moves based on things that probably have nothing to do with dancing. And one day I was watching SpongeBob, a show that I grew up with, and I was watching an episode called Gary's Bath, and there's this scene where SpongeBob is trying to throw Gary into the bathtub, but no matter how much time SpongeBob threw Gary into the tub, Gary would kind of like stick on another part of SpongeBob. Here's a little clip to show you guys what I'm talking about.
7, 40. The treasure must be in here. Wow, Gary, look! A pirate treasure chest! Wow. Why, no, Gary, this isn't the bathtub. It's treasure! Look, doubloons! Don't drop them. Look at this brooch! I don't know what a snail would want with a brooch! Now, why don't you just get in the tub? Get in the tub! Get in the tub! Get in the tub! In the tub! In the tub! Now, Gary, are you gonna get in this tub, or am I gonna have to...
So after watching that scene of SpongeBob, I really wanted to make a move out of SpongeBob trying to throw Gary into the tub. And I know that's really weird thinking, but it's that weird thinking that helps me come up with these moves. Like, I can't explain it, but here's an example. Like, I pretend in my head that this hand is actually Gary, and I have Gary on me, and I'm gonna try and throw him into the tub. So I push him down. But oh man, he's on the tub, he's stuck on my foot. So I'm going to attempt to throw Gary this way. But oh man, Gary's stuck to this foot now. That's alright, I'm gonna throw him this way. But oh man, he's stuck to my other foot. Then I go down like that, and that's it. Okay, so that move is called Gary's Thread, and how I made that move was, I remember it was the same day I just made Gary's Bath, and I noticed when I was like doing Gary's Bath, there was a lot of movement going on to this side of my body, So I kind of wanted to balance it out and make a combination that's mostly right here. And for Gary's bath, I started out like this. And this is a movement that I use a lot. I get my hand, reach through my leg, and then, surprise, I take out another hand. So I start Gary's bath like this. So I thought I would start Gary's thread like this on my other side. And I had no idea what to do after this. So I thought, okay, I can make a thread right here. But I didn't want to do that because I felt like that was really obvious. So what I did was I decided to put this leg, thread it through here, but tangle it like this. And I kind of like how it's tangled right here. To me, that just looks nice, especially going into it. But now I'm kind of in this awkward position and I don't know what to do next. So I decided to put my arm and bring it to my leg like that. And I just kind of like the illusion of my body looking so tangled, but then I just untangle it very quickly. To me, that looks really nice, so I decided to stick with it. So I did this. And what I wanted to do now, I guess I just experimented and decided to grab my face and bring it down. And I like that. I just liked how it felt. I would have thought that no other b-boy would probably do that or expect it, or especially see it coming. So I like it. So I did this, bring it down, and then put my arm over here, and I thought I thread. But then I kind of realized this move is called Gary's thread, but it has nothing to do with Gary. So I decided to bring my arm like this, and this tangled spot right here kind of reminds me of the spirals on Gary's shell. And then Gary's a snail, so the way he moves is that he drags his body everywhere he goes and kind of leaves a slimy trail. So that's what I wanted to do next. Slide to the floor like this. Like this. And then I noticed that there's a tiny hole right here, and that would be a cool way to end the thread. So that thread was called extra threads, and that's a really special combination to me. When I first finally found my style, I figured out I wanted to be a b-boy that made a lot of creative threads and whatnot. I remember when I decided to do that, I made a thread combination, and then I made another thread combination, and I was really satisfied that I created these moves. And since I just discovered this style of mine, I just wanted more and more. I wanted to create more and more signatures, more threads. So I decided I wanted like extra threads. So this is why it's called extra threads. And when I was thinking of creating a new thread, I was just like cross-legged like this, trying to think. And I was looking in the mirror, and I thought, why don't I make a thread in this position? So I started off like this, and since I wanted to make extra threads, more and more threads, because I was really feeling excited, I thought, all right, let's make an X. I have an X here, And what if I do this? Then I have more X's. I have an X with my legs, an X with my arms right here. Then I have an X, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have an X with my leg and my arm here, and X with my leg and my arm here. Now after I did this, I decided what to do next, and I thought it would be cool if I brought my arms and pulled my legs together like this. But I wanted to find a more creative way to do that, because part of my creative process, I like to add detail before I make another detail. It's kind of like a story. So instead of that, I decided what would no other b-boy do? And I thought no one would think of this. 1, 2. Or 1, 2. Kind of unwinding the thread. And then I noticed that my hands were touching and connecting to my feet. And I wanted to take advantage of that connection and slide it up and then put it together like this. So far we have cross legs, 1, 2, 4, slide up, bring it together. And then now that I'm right here, I was thinking, all right, what do I do now? And I was really stuck because I felt, I don't understand this feeling, but it's kind of like intuition. I just feel like there was more I needed to do. So I was trying to think of what to do after this. And I thought, all right, what would another b-boy would do? And I'm not gonna do it. And I thought that a b-boy would probably thread like this. And I was getting stuck, so I decided to do that. But usually when I decide to do something I would think another b-boy would do, I would kind of put a twist to it. So I thread here. And next I wanted to slide my hand down right here. But I decided if I'm going to slide my hand down here, I want to make my leg go down as well to complement that movement and make it look like my leg is sliding my hand down like this. Okay, and I decided, all right, what to do after this. I got stuck again, and I asked myself, all right, what would another b-boy do? And I thought another b-boy would thread like this. And because I was stuck, there we go. Because I was stuck, I decided to do that. But again, I wanted to put a twist to it if I'm going to do something I would think another b-boy would do. So when I thread like this, I wanted to wrap my arm around my leg like this, and finally have this pretty unique freeze where I kind of tuck myself in and then burst out like that. And probably way high. I don't know. So I kind of spin, and then sit cross-legged. 1, 2, all my X's. Unwind, connect, slide it up, bring it together, thread, twist, plot twist. I put my legs down like this. Oh, gonna thread, plot twist, not done. Wrap myself, tuck in, and then burst out. So that was extra threads. Alright, so this is all the moves I'm going to show in this video. I'll definitely be making more. But finally, we made it to the end. Put everything I did together and you get something that looks a bit like this.